everything happening around Condors Town. Now in HD.
Missed wide of the net. To the left wing corner, centering feet. Brenner all alone in the slot. Scores! A snake job from Tyler Brenner. Pass it to take control, and now it does. He's in all alone. Backhand scores! Welcome back, Nick Tremblay. And that's to the side of the cage. Back to the right point. Bird number. He scores! The captain from the right circle.
Now, two of the most attractive men on radio. Here are the voices of the Condors, Ryan Holt and Kevin Bartle.
We should only be on radio. How they gave us a video show, I have absolutely no clue. But here we are, episode 4. We've made it through a month, Barts.
We have a month into the season, and we're going strong. I think we got a good thing going here.
Yeah, we're rolling along here on Condors Unleashed. Welcome inside the Dignity Health Studios, everyone. Ryan Holt and Kevin Bartle.
Why is your
you
name
here.
under me? And
Yeah. Well,
there you
are.
All
yeah,
right.
you pop up in the same
Thank you very
spot,
much.
too.
All right.
Stop trying to throw me off my game here. I
I'm
was
sorry.
rolling with the intro.
I know.
I was all excited. Episode 4, Condors Unleashed, here from the Dignity Health Studios inside the Bakersfield, California. We've disrupted the newsroom enough out there, and they finally put us in our cave, and now we have to host a show.
Yes.
So, also on Fox Sports Radio 970, if you're out with your phone, you can tune in on iHeartRadio, or else if you're in your car, set the dial to 970. And thanks for taking some time out of your lunch and spending it with us. Presumably, you've tuned in to see Coach and or our guest here this afternoon, but I guess
I don't want to say who our guest
suffice.
is until you cue me up. I don't want to get blamed already. It's 12:02 in 10 seconds. I've already been blamed. I've already been yelled at twice.
I'm wearing my nice new coat that I'm displaying here as well, too. It's like a suit coat, but it's really not. It's
great.
comfortable.
It's great.
You don't have one.
No, I don't.
No.
I'm wearing nothing Condors today, as a matter of fact.
Nothing. Vice President of Communications, nothing Condors related. Tell us who our player guest is, though, here this afternoon.
I don't remember.
Joey
Joey Leach. I'm just kidding. Joey Leach will be joining us. He's a big man. They're going to have to come in and readjust the camera positions.
Yeah, they're going to readjust. He's 6'4", 6'5". He's 6'5".
He even looks tall in the photo.
Yeah. We'll talk with rookie defenseman Joey Leach. We had him on the broadcast over the weekend for a player interview during the first intermission of Friday night's game. So we'll have a little bit more of an in-depth conversation with Joey and ask him about the season. We'll ask him about how he enjoys Bakersfield, all that good stuff coming up with our player guests. And, of course, Condors head coach Troy Mann's going to be stopping by. And
he's going to break down some film.
He's going to break down some film, and I don't know if it's positive film.
Well, I doubt very much that it will all be positive, but we'd like to focus on some of the positives.
There is positives.
There were some positives from the weekend, even though there was no victories attained. So there are things that come on. I would say I dare suggest that our video session with the coach will be a lot more positive than the one he probably had with his players.
Yes, I went down to Coach yesterday and said, "Hey, Coach, what do you have for video for us?" He said, "I got plenty of video. What do you want to see?" I said, "Well, we probably shouldn't throw everyone under the bus, but what do you have?" And he goes, "Oh, here, I'll clip off a couple of this, a couple of that." So we'll take a look in Coach's Corner. That'll be in our second segment. And then our last segment, as always, for the record, we'll give you our picks for this upcoming week. And in a complete role reversal, I was awful and you were good this past week.
3-0.
Yeah.
If 3-0 is good, then I guess
average.
I was good.
It's average.
Yes.
It's average.
I'm back in first place.
Our guest picker this week will be our protege. Stephen Gady will join us.
We'll see how much he's learned.
We hope. He's been with us for about a year now. We hope he's learned something and can save the guest picker by going 3-0 this week. We hope for a good week out of Stephen Gady. He'll join us in our final segment. Of course, we'll eat some Mountain Mike's pizza. We'll have some fun, and it'll just be a great show, and you'll want to stay tuned throughout the entire hour if you haven't turned off already. All right. Barts, what do we got coming up?
We always start with
Holty's headlines.
headlines. There he
All
is.
right. Are we in?
Yeah, you're on. You're
Holty's
live.
headlines.
You're live.
Well, headline number one, we always like to break down the highlights from the previous week, so let's just go ahead and roll right through these because there wasn't much Condors related, but it started off very good for the Bakersfield Condors up in Alaska for the 3-3. The Condors getting off to an impressive 3-1 lead over Alaska Friday night, and we can roll it here. Oh, hold on. That's a coach's video. We're previewing the coach's video. Now we got the highlights from the past week, and there's Blake Kessel on the rebound. The Condors
Luke
going
Oakley setting up a goal.
Yes. 1-0. David Musil makes it 2-0. The Condors are off and rolling. Alaska gets a couple opportunities and finally convert. Peter Sivak gets his first of about 20 on the weekend and makes it 2-1. The Condors would go up 3-1. There's the 2-2 goal. And the Condors are going to pull ahead. Jordan Knackstead will get a goal that's not shown in these highlights.
You missed it.
Yeah.
That was the best goal of the weekend.
That was the best goal of the
weekend.
weekend.
And you didn't include it in the highlights.
We'll see it. The Aces didn't include it in their highlights.
Oh, I got you.
We'll see it coming up later on in Coach's Corner. The beautiful goal from Jordan Knackstead. But from then on, the rest of the weekend belonged to Alaska. It was a tough weekend for Bakersfield. A 3-game sweep at the hand of the Aces. You got to look at Laurent Brossoit. Brossoit named the ECHL's goalie of the week for his performance over the weekend. 2 consecutive shutouts for Brossoit. I thought, Bart's, over the weekend, Paul Karpowicz struggled at times, obviously, with Alaska offensively. There's no denying that. But if it hadn't been for Karpowicz, things could have been a lot worse up there in Anchorage. He made a couple of terrific stops over the weekend.
Well, there definitely was, and something that you talked about on the broadcast is there's a huge difference in Condors history, really, in Game 1 of a series in Alaska, in Games 2 and 3. Bakersfield what may surprise people, quite a convincing winning record in Game 1s of the series, and that was definitely the Condors' best game. And I think ultimately, if the Condors had lost Games 2 and 3, but ended up coming away with that 3-1 win in Game 1, it would have changed the entire dynamic of the weekend and just how we're feeling right now back in Condors Town here this week. So, at times the Aces poured it on, but that happens up there. I mean, one goal can quickly turn into 2 or 3, and then a victory up there in Alaska. There's just something about the setting up there in that stadium with that crowd and everything that goes into a trip to Alaska, that everything just compiles right up on top of you.
Those are the highlights from Game 3. The Condors had opportunities early in that first period. And again, first periods weren't the trouble period for the Condors. It really turned into that second period where Alaska was able to skate away and take control of all 3 games. But the first periods were very good, not only road periods, but periods overall, periods you'd even like to see on home ice.
Yeah, and the first period, the starts of the game was one of the weaknesses, I think, of the Condors over the first couple weeks of the season. But it really has kind of become a strong period for Bakersfield. They're just not getting the goals that they need usually in the first period and taking advantage of some of their opportunities. I go back even to that Florida game. The Condors were the better team through the first 8 to 10 minutes easily. They had a 4-1 lead in shots or so in that game. Got no goals for it, and then before you know it, they were trailing.
And if you get a look at it on Bakersfield.com, we'll talk a little bit more about them in just a bit, but the new black jerseys made their arrival, and they made their arrival in Anchorage. They look good. So to recap the weekend, a 3-game sweep from the Alaska Aces over the Condors, 6-3 on a Friday night, 5-0 on a Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon, a tough 4-0 loss. That game was 0-0 after 1, and then 1-0 after 2, and the Condors let it get away in the third period late there on a Sunday afternoon. Coming up this weekend, Condors are on the road in San Francisco on a Friday. That's Friday night at 7:30. You can also catch that on Fox Sports Radio 970. And then the Condors come home Saturday night, Star Wars night against Las Vegas, and then Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock against the Stockton Thunder. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few moments. The Gettysburg Address jersey off our backs on the weekend. Moving on to Holty's headline number 2, Affiliation WOES. This isn't just a Condors Town thing, Barts, this tough start for Bakersfield. It's been a tough start all around the affiliation. We take a look at the records. Edmonton won last night against Florida. They are 4-10-2 overall. That's 16 games, and they have 8 points. That's not getting it done. The Oilers are in last place in the Western Conference in the NHL. They're actually second to last in the entire NHL. But with the win over Florida, perhaps turning things around. Oklahoma City is pacing the affiliation right now, 5-6-0-1, 11 points. They're just a point out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. They have a couple more games played. But some former Condors doing some good things as well. Joel Baroda up there in OKC. He's been averaging about a point per game. He's been playing pretty well and used in a lot of different situations.
He's a good player. There's certainly, it's no accident that they called him up, to Oklahoma City. I mean, he's a guy that's, just played in all situations, and also he has a great offensive pedigree all throughout his career. So they certainly can be comfortable when needed to put him out in offensive situations. It looks like they're doing that, and he's producing.
So we're looking for the affiliation to get off to a slow start, but finish fast. That's how we got everyone right where we want them.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right where we want them. If you told me we could start 7-0 but miss the playoffs, or start 0-7 and make the playoffs, I'm starting 0-7, Barts, every time and twice on Sunday.
You're a wise man, Mr. Holt.
Yes. Condors will look for their first win this weekend against Las Vegas, San Francisco, and Stockton. Moving on, Holty's headline number 3. We always like to keep it a little bit light during Holty's headlines. Avicii. You're thinking, Holty's gone off the deep end, and I probably have. Condors intro video this year, at least the first one that we're going to use for the first month and a half, 2 months of the season, features a song by popular DJ, world-renowned DJ, Avicii. Folks,
Is that really him?
What's that?
Is that really him?
Oh, that's really him.
Oh, okay.
That's really him. I'm not a fan of Avicii. I'm not a fan of techno music. I'm not a fan of house music. I'm not a fan of upbeat music. I'm a fan of music, Chris. I am a fan of music. I'm not a fan of this particular genre of music, though. However, I think it works for an intro video. And why is this important? Avicii's actually in Bakersfield this week, filming a music video, working with the Jeremy Stott Foundation to get some veterans in his video. Going to be filming it in Bakersfield, coming up on Thursday and Friday. Maybe he'll even stay for the game on Saturday and can perform his song, or just hit play, I guess. He just turns the turntable. Is that what he does? Is that what they do?
Put it on wax.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
You spin the ones and twos?
Yeah, that's right.
I could see you DJing back in college, actually, now that I think about it. But Avicii's song, obviously, the much talked about intro video for the Condors, which I think is a very good intro video.
It is.
I've seen NHL ones. They have, and I was like, I'm not going against the fans. You're entitled to your opinion. But the opinion from some folks is that the song is not pump up enough. Now, my response to that is it's 128 beats per minute. The song cannot physically go faster than that. So, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing with Avicii, and everybody traditionally, I think especially our fans, they latch on to heavy metal or, rock,
yes,
hard rock solely. But the players nowadays are listening to all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
And
they were the ones who chose this.
Correct. And a couple years ago, we had Avicii all through our intro video, and everyone was complaining over the warm-up music.
Yes.
Everyone was complaining. Well, you're not getting the players pumped up with this music. Folks, they picked the music.
Yes. So this is really an appeal to Condors Town.
Yes.
And no, changing our intro video will not affect the on-ice performance of this team.
Not at all.
Changing the goal song will not either. Changing the goal horn will not either. Although I'd like to change the goal horn. It's tough. They're very expensive, folks. It's not an easy thing to get. But anyways, Avicii's in town Thursday and Friday filming a music video about veterans. It's called Hey Brother. And maybe you'll be in it. He had casting this week. He wanted to film it in a spot where it would look like a traditional country America.
He's a very serious-looking man.
Yes. He's coming up from L.A.
All right.
I'm going to go see if I can see him and maybe get him for an interview. All right, moving on. The Condors. Bagels.
Bagels on the board, Holty.
149 minutes without a goal and counting. Let's get this changed very quickly in the opener against San Francisco this week, and we'll talk a little bit more with Troy Mann and Joey Leach about that. Got to get that off the board. Bagels go by.
Goodbye,
raisin bagels. But let's get them off the board.
They look like it.
Let's get them off the board. Lincoln jerseys. All right, now we're moving on to the good stuff. Condors making national headlines once again. Yesterday announced the Condors will wear, well, we announced it earlier, but we finally revealed the jerseys that the Condors will wear on Sunday. They're the commemorative jerseys for the 150th anniversary of the Gettysburg Address, of course, delivered by 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, who's featured on the jersey. And Bart's, what is your favorite part about the Gettysburg Address jersey?
The cannons.
The cannons.
The cannons.
All right.
Nothing says Civil War to me like some Civil War cannons.
I like the cannons, but I'm more of a fan, I think, of the 4 score and 7 years ago, which is featured across the back shoulders right underneath the collar. And because I'm a fan of it, because the USA Olympic jerseys have a very similar type of thing. For the life of me, I can't remember it right now. What it says, I think it says "Land of the Free, Home of the Brave" on the USA Olympic jerseys. But I like the 4 score and 7 years ago in bold, in script, right underneath the collar on the back side of the sweaters. And of course, there's plenty of more detail. You can check out BakersfieldCondors.com for more information. Now, we've gotten a lot of emails, of course, with the publicity over the past, it hasn't even been 24 hours. Some of the people are calling these the greatest jerseys in history. Sports Illustrated, Sports Illustrated, not just People. Sports Illustrated did. SI Now, you can go on, check it out. All the links are up on our page as well at BakersfieldCondors.com. But if you would like to purchase one of these jerseys, we have them available. What you need to do in just a few hours, we're still getting the link up. We still have to get everything finalized with the jerseys. But you'll be able to go on the Condors website, BakersfieldCondors.com/shop. /shop. You can check them out on the homepage there of the team store. You can place a pre-order. Now, for those fans wanting to buy a game-worn sweater, if you haven't heard about Condors jersey auctions, we've raised over $860,000 in our history for charities. This jersey will benefit Bark here locally in Bakersfield. To bid on these jerseys, the minimum bid is going to be set at $400. So if your minimum bid isn't $400, you're not getting a game-worn jersey. That said, if you'd like to get a game-worn jersey, call the Condors front office, 324-PUCK, 324-7825 for more information as how you can live bid. I'm looking forward to it, Bartz. I know you are too.
I am as well.
Saturday night is Star Wars night. We'll talk about more on that later in the program. Coming up next, we'll get Coach's Corner. We'll sit down with Condors head coach Troy Mann. We'll get his thoughts on this past weekend. We'll break down some film. We'll also talk with Joey Leach. But Troy Mann is up next on Condors Unleashed. Live from the Dignity Health Studios inside the Bakersfield, California, and on Bakersfield.com and Fox Sports Radio 970. Stay tuned.